says it all. Let's break it down. So the headline number came in at 0.3% for the month and 2.7% annualized. Both of those figures were in line with the estimates. The category that saw the most inflation, the biggest increase, in other words, last month was shelter.
What did you think when you found out it's going to be almost 4% instead of 2.1%?
Well, it made me sick. It made me sick.
89-year-old Estelle Arlo has lived at Venvie Don Mills Seniors Apartments for the past 16 years. She was expecting her rent to increase 2.1% under this year's rent guideline, but was shocked to get a notice her rent would be going up 3.99%.
I think it's a big cash grab.
Arlo's monthly rent was just increased from $3,784 to over $3,900.
I was just flummoxed. I couldn't believe it.
The landlord has the ability to really increase the overall charge by whatever they want.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Robert here. Those CPI numbers came in. They hit what the projections were, but for many Americans, for many of us, those numbers really don't correlate to what you're actually feeling. And it's unfortunate, and folks are dealing with some hard times. I'm going to shed some light on what's going on. More importantly, give some solutions, because that's what's needed, so that you're not discouraged and you can see that there's a way out of these things if you choose to apply it. Hi, my name is Robert, and on this channel, we simplify the home loan process. Inflation is real. Housing or shelter costs are going up, and they're going to continue to go up, in my professional opinion. If you're on the other end, as far as rent is concerned, you feel like something nefarious is being done to you, but I can guarantee you, for the majority of landlords, they're not making a killing. And as I've always stated, these costs will be passed along to you. May not be right now in real time, but over a period of time, that's the nature of the business. So if you can, you always want to secure your largest expense, which is going to be shelter or housing. And this is why I have that stance.
For two of you, your goggles are about to go clear.
This is my problem.
The rest of you will stay locked in the dark.
That's that electric zapper. Hasn't caught a single solitary one of them. They all avoid it.
This is what I wanted. I see a village.
This is what I'm having to live with. And the landlord's known about it since the beginning of the year. My life sucks.
Ugh.
How is America continuing to build all these ridiculous apartment complexes, but charging almost $3,000 for one bedroom? And who in the hell are affording to move into these ridiculously high, overpriced, expensive apartments? The national average salary is like $55,000, something like that. I'm not the best at math, but 56,000 divided by 12 is like $4,600 a month. That's like 75% of your check gone if you're paying $3,000 a month for an apartment. Not to mention you got food, you got electricity bill, you got car payment, car insurance, gas. You like to go shopping, get new clothes. God forbid you need a haircut every 2 weeks, or you got to get your hair done. And God forbid you have kids' mouths to feed. That's even double. The average income earner cannot afford these overpriced apartments. So who the f are they building these apartment complexes for? And what makes it even more hilarious, every single year these greedy landlords continue to increase the rent. So pretty soon, if you haven't already, we're going to be seeing $4,000, $5,000 a month apartment complex prices. And my question is, why do they keep getting away with this?
Young man, the reason it's going on is because it's a business and there's a market. There are millions of people that have chosen not to secure the most expensive line item in their budget, and that's shelter, housing. And so as a result, there's more renters, less or a smaller amount of supply as far as real estate is concerned, and therefore they can charge these prices. Moreover, a lot of these home prices that a lot of folks online get on and lament about, number one, he's not living there. Facts. Number two, most aren't living there, and they give you these averages. Well, you should look at the median. Matter of fact, you shouldn't look at any statistics, because you can make a number say what you want to make it say. Look at your personal situation. That's what I would say to that. If you're watching, quit worrying about what everybody else is doing and understand what your economy is. And so this is why these businesses charge these amounts. Number two, everybody wants to live in a nice place. This is what is not being said, in my opinion, with a lot of these videos. In essence, they're saying, hey, I want you to subsidize me living in a very nice upscale apartment and I don't want to pay for it. Well, it don't work like that, you see. And if you go on to watch the young man, everybody's solution is violence. He's trying to incite violence. Let's get together. You go get your pitchfork. You post up. You feel what I'm saying? Follow the leader. You see, these websites, these social media platforms, you have to watch it because they'll speak to your lowest level of consciousness and try to incite you to do wickedness. Two wrongs, sir, don't make a right. Now, not getting on to you, I understand your frustration, but emotions won't change your situation. You look very healthy. I did a video just the other day giving solutions of current careers, jobs that are available right now where you can make said monies that you're just talking about. So for the rest of you, don't get caught up in, oh, look at them over there. Look at your house. Hold your road. That's all you can deal with. And then you can deal without. If everybody minded their business, we would be in a better position. But this is why rent is high. This is why I've been saying for years, as long as I've been on these platforms, to secure your housing. Because did a video a couple of weeks ago, rent is going to be $3,000 across the board. And you're either going to pay the rent or you're going to have to humble yourself and be able to live with some folks until the time is you can go out on your own if that's what you want to do. But this environment, the CPI, the core, the root of it is all of these free dollars flowing and no production. Nobody's working for these monies. A lot of folks aren't. I ain't gonna say nobody. A lot of folks aren't. And so as a result, there's no tax base. And so when you have more on the dole than are producing, costs are going to go up. This is what a lot of people don't want to hear, but I may have it wrong. You guys correct me and let me know what I'm missing. Let's continue.
People talk about the housing crisis like it's just numbers, but it actually changed how people live inside their bodies. I have experienced instability firsthand, and what people don't talk enough about is how expensive housing forces you into survival mode, even when you're doing everything right. You stop making choices that are based on what's healthy and start choosing decisions that are based on what you can afford to survive. Since 1970s, the rent has gone up over 50%, adjusted for inflation, but the wages have not kept up. Even renting isn't a safe fallback anymore. This is why so many people feel stuck, why so many people stay in jobs that drain them, why people stay in relationships that don't feel safe. It isn't really a lack of motivation, but a lack of real options. When housing eats up majority of your income, rest becomes a luxury and choice becomes dangerous. And then people confuse survival with stability.
Again, where's the accountability? I've experienced housing insecurity. I think that's how she coined it. I was homeless for a little stint. The reason I was homeless for a little stint is because of the choices that I made. Not getting down on these people, but we have to turn the corner. You gotta quit victimizing everything and saying someone else did this to me. This is what I challenge you to do. Go to the point where you said you was grown. We can't go back to the 1970s. She wasn't even born in the 1970s. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to go to the point where you started the age of accountability. And I'll even go beyond that. When you said with your grown self, I'm going to leave the house or I have to leave and I'm out here on my own making my own decisions. Now we got to start from that point and be accountable for the actions that we made. Didn't like being homeless. This is when I humbled myself and I said, Lord, if you let me get out of this situation, if you give me one more chance, I'll do right. I don't hear any repentance. I don't hear any this is what I've done wrong. All I hear is these people are making my life hard and it's supposed to be easy. And now the choices that I make, I'm making bad choices because of them. Where are you in the equation? Everybody's not the victim. I'll say this and I'll move on. The devil, the enemy, can only, hear me, can only control you if you give him access. You have to give the authority. It's like a lot of these apps that we have. Who reads the terms of service? Or do you just say accept and then cry on the back end? This is why I come on to get you to think and turn. We have to change and move forward because it's just going to get harder. Why? Because we have a lot of people saying, woe is me. Nobody's producing. And you have more people that are looking for a free check than are producing. And you're not going to get rid of the taxes. That's this system. If you want another system, then I have to get another channel to talk about that because this isn't it. But again, your choices are your choices. You have to hold yourself accountable first and foremost before we can see or identify where the problem is. What did they say? Knowing is half of the battle. Let's continue.
Y'all, I have a serious question. How much is y'all paying for rent? Like, what is normal? What is the budget? Like, what is the budget, y'all? Like, I live in South Jersey, y'all. I'm paying $1,500 for a one bedroom. Like, $1,500 for a one bedroom apartment. Like, no washer, no dryer, no pool, no gym, no fitness center, none of that. $1,500 for a one bedroom, and they charge us to use the washers to wash our clothes. Like, what? Like, where are the nice apartments? They don't even gotta be nice. I'm just saying nice apartments for $900. Like, what is the cutoff? Y'all, I just went to go view a one bedroom apartment, y'all. $1,635. Like, $1,635. I don't know what to do. Like, I really don't know.
Young lady, watch this video to the end because I'm going to help you out. We're going to give you some solutions because you asked a great question. And this is something that I try to get a lot of people to do, even myself. And it's an exercise that I don't like doing, but it's called budgeting. I'm going to give you a 10,000 foot view on how you should budget. And then second thing, I really would admonish you to not think that someone is responsible for your wants. Swimming pool, tennis court, washer and dryer. Those aren't wants. And if you want those things, you're still in a place where you could go get them, but you have to make some decisions. You can't complain. You have to solve your problem. So again, not getting down on you. Appreciate you bringing your concerns to the internet to help all of us out. To that end, let's get into the solutions, guys, because we understand what the issue is, that the inflation, in this instance, the housing or the shelter component of the CPI report is a leading indicator of things that are going to continue to happen. So I want you guys to be prepared. So check these solutions out.
How much rent can you actually afford? General guidance says to spend less than 30% of your gross income on rent. But using gross income can leave you stretched thin, so a more conservative approach is to use 35% of your net income. That's post-tax. So if you're making $100K a year, the monthly rent you can comfortably afford to pay is $2,327 a month. Living in higher cost of living areas will be closer to 40%, but that still fits into the broader personal finance rule of 50-30-20. That's 50% of net pay to your needs, 30% to your wants, and 20% to your savings or investments.
Rent is too high. So let's talk about some housing hacks. Housing hack number 1. If you live at home with your parents, stay there as long as possible. Like, you mean to tell me that you live in a world where you're not paying rent? Stay at your family's house. However, if staying home is not great for your mental health, leave. Housing hack number 2, find a roommate. Once upon a time, I was literally paying $435 for rent, and I had 2 other roommates, and it was so affordable. Housing hack number 3, rent a room. Rent a single room in a house. Not only will this help you be a minimalist, but having limited space in the long run will help you save money. Housing hack number 4, look for a living situation where all the utilities are included. So I'm talking heat, electricity, gas, Wi-Fi. This way you're only focused on paying that chunk of rent. Housing hack number 5, you guys aren't going to like this one. Do not get an animal unless you know what you're getting yourself into. No pets. I have 2 cats and 1 dog, and I love them with all my heart. But people do not like to rent out their spaces if you have animals. If you find a place that allows pets, they make you pay a fee, okay? No pets.
I had a lot of questions on my video of me moving into my apartment on how I afford it. So I'm going to tell you how I afford it. I can't speak for everybody else, but I can speak for myself. First thing I feel like is very, very important is keep in mind that social media is not always what it seems. I've gotten denied for apartments before. I have had to borrow money from family members before. I have gone through my fair share. I don't just have a bunch of money and I just move into an apartment, and it's not like that, and it'll never be like that unless you're rich. And yeah, I'm not rich. I do work 2 jobs. I'm a leasing consultant, and then I'm a server part-time, so definitely plays a big part. I work my behind off to afford my apartment. A lot of people aren't willing to work 2 jobs. I feel like my apartment is my peace, and I'm willing to work hard for it. Another thing that may not be realistic for everyone, but it helped me, is I got a job at a leasing office. I decided that I was tired of serving full time, so I decided to get a job as a leasing consultant, and I do get a discount on rent. Depending on the company you work for, you get anywhere between 20 and 40% of a discount off of your rent. I get 20. That definitely saves me a couple $100 a month. So that was like a really big part that played on why I can afford my apartment. Honestly, I'm not the best saver, so I'm not going to preach saving to you, but I definitely did have a good savings before I moved out. Obviously, with moving costs, furniture, food, things like that, it started slowly slipping away. But definitely taking your time before you move out. Don't just jump up and move out. Save some money, have a plan, have a good credit, things like that. Another thing that I feel like is super important is obviously shopping your budget. Stop trying to get these luxury apartments that you see on TikTok when you can't afford them. For example, if your rent is $1,700, you need to be making at least $3,500 to $4,000 a month to have a comfortable living, because it's not only just rent, it's electricity, it's water, it's food, it's internet. Like, there's so much more to it. Those bills will catch up to you. But yeah, that is how I afford to live on my own. I work 2 jobs. I get a discount on rent. And I try to be good with my money. I'm not the best saver, but I try to be good with my money. Yeah, I can't speak for anybody else, but that's me.
Excellent advice. Don't need to add anything to it. You got from the budget to these 2 young ladies, or the last 2 young ladies that you saw, giving you sage advice on what to do. Now, you don't have to feel like the world is against you. Now, you've gotten the information. What are you going to do? You see, we're in the what are you going to do time and season. Complaining is over. Learning is over. Going to conventions is over. Trying to get the game is over. Being a criminal, hopefully that's over. If you ain't figured it out, you're going to jail. And that'll be another problem that you have because of your decisions. I don't want that for you. I want you to live and have life and have it more abundantly, as long as it's within the letter of the law. Not just the law of the land, but God's law. That's what I adhere to. If you have watched this video and you said, I need to see if I'm ready to get onto the housing ladder, I'm a lender. My NMLS license number is 180100, and you can schedule a consultation by going to the link in the description below. I would love to have a conversation if I'm your cup of tea, right? If not, find a lender that you know, like, and trust, because as I've said for the last 6-7 years, home ownership is at stake, and you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you have to just take what comes to you, because rent is going up. Facts. My time is up, but I thank you for yours. As I always say, guys, let's be good to one another. Let grace abound. Watch these next 2 videos here. It will help you on your journey. And until the next time, indeed, y'all stay blessed.